up, guys? We're here in the shop today and we're back on project F550. You haven't seen the truck in a while because it's been down. We've had to rebuild the front Dana axle on it. So we got a hold of Rock Auto and ordered everything we need, from ball joints to outer tie rods to steering links, everything to rebuild, dust seals, new bearings, new hubs, everything that'll go underneath the front of the truck. So we're out here right now. We're getting it jacked up into place, and we're gonna start taking off everything. All the old brakes, everything's coming off. We bought all new tie rod inner and outer for right and left, new ball joints. We're gonna get these rotors turned, get new brake pads. We got shocks coming, whole bunch of new stuff. All the steering mechanisms underneath, bushings. You can see the seal down in here in the axle, and we'll get more into it as we get all this stuff taken apart. And I'll show you guys all the new parts before we put them in there. And then obviously once they're installed, we can go ahead and do a follow-up video, and we'll take the truck for a test drive and get it going. Stay tuned, guys. Let me get some stuff set up, and then we'll get you out there and get going on it. Thanks. What's up, guys? So here's an update. We're out here on the F550. You can see we've got the wheel hub bearing off. We got our new axle set tool for setting the new bearing. This is the outer adapter for the rim. Here we've got the driver's side knuckle axle removed. We're getting this all nice and cleaned up. I could take you out front, show you the F550, and then I'll bring you back in here and show you what we got going on over here. Let's see. So you can see we're completely removed all the way down to the axle housing on the driver's side here of Project F550. And we're gonna clean all this up and start with our new axle and dust seal. And then we'll put in our two new ball joints on the kingpin. I'm gonna show you that in a second, and start building this thing out the whole way. There she is in all her glory, ready to get back on the road. Shop Yoda had a long week. Had a real long week of landscaping and a lot of trimming and gardening, getting ready for this summer. And once again, here's this. We've got a couple, we're gonna use our compressor, our Husky 60-gallon compressor that we've gone over several times. Go back in my videos if you haven't seen the videos on this unit here and how it works and how to break it in and everything like that. We'll be using that. We'll be using our little mini gun. But if you come over here, I've got this part staged. Partner Mike's on his way over with the power washer, and we're gonna start power washing this kingpin. This is what holds the two ball joints. Take a look here. Look at that. Raw, going down the road, just destroyed. We got death wobble. That's what started this whole project. And now we said, screw it. We're going to replace everything from the dust seal out. All the seals, the wheel hub, everything. And put it all back with greasable. We're even going to go as far as replacing the whole steering center link. You can see I've got the old one here laid out. And I've got almost a pallet's worth of tools or parts sitting inside the house here. All brand new stuff. We went through Rock Auto. I guess it's all the parts your car will ever need. And they got us everything shipped out. And as we were taking the axle and stuff apart, we did find a few more seals that were bad. Went ahead and got those ordered. So that's all we're waiting on, but we've got enough here to get us going and continue down the line here. So let me get the power washer set up. As soon as partner Mike shows up, we'll get this stuff cleaned up, and I can show you what it's like to reassemble it and press those ball joints and stuff in. We'll see you in a little bit. Oh yeah, and we had a broken locker. Look at that. Done. Shattered it. That's coming too. Stay tuned, guys. We'll get you going here. Thanks. So we went ahead and power washed our kingpin and used our little grinder and got it down as clean as we could. The next step will be pressing out these ball joints, and we'll get all set up and we'll press these old ones out. But I'm gonna go ahead and mask off the areas that I don't want to get paint on or anything else. So you can see inside here where our wheel hub bearing vacuum seal will sit. And then on the front, we're going around here with tape, and we're just using a little piece of metal, and we're going over these edges, just kind of roughing them over like this. You can see, and basically we're just burring that edge off. You know, it ain't gonna be perfect, but this is a lot faster. A lot faster action than trying to do it a bunch of other ways. So you can see how quick and easy this is. Just taking this little piece of metal here, like that. See, and I'll go all the way around, and then I can mask this off, and I can get some primer and paint on it. Let me take you over here real quick to the back 40, the Outcast junkyard. You can see where we were blasting. We've got our axle over here, and we've already taped it off, primered it, and painted it. See, so it's gonna be a nice shiny black. It's just like an undercoat spray paint. This is one of the dust covers. You can see that. Let me see if we can get some sun on it. So that's looking good. May need another coat, I don't know. But we're cleaning these parts up as we go. All nice and taped off. Again, we taped off the ends that are nice and shiny. We don't want those ends to get paint and stuff on them, because they're the ends that are going to be up in there with grease and seals. So we want those areas to stay nice and clean. As we come back here to the shop, we've got this deal up here. So we're gonna continue masking all of this stuff off. We're gonna start reassembling the new center link that we have. We'll set the old center link up on the bench here, and we'll lay out all the new parts, and we'll assemble it just about the same as the old one that came off until we can get it aligned, and it should be pretty close. The alignment was pretty good on the truck. So let me get some stuff out here and get going on it. We'll see you in a little bit. Here's the new steering center link, is all basically assembled up on the bench. Over here we have the old one. We basically had them laid out side by side on the bench, and I reassembled the new one at about the same adjustments as far as the threads as this one. And then you can see here we went down to an auto parts store and we rented the ball joint press. We're going to be pressing these ball joints out of our kingpin here. So one cool thing that I had noticed was that I was going to have to make a custom sleeve to fit over the bigger ball joints on these four-wheel drives. These are too long, so actually somebody was smart enough, they came up with the kit for four-wheel drive, and you can get these real deep sleeves that'll go, you know, they fit a lot better on there. You get a lot more distance out of your press than you would with just the stock stuff. Actually, it wouldn't even work. It would get to a point where it would hit and it would no longer be pressing the ball joint out. So you can see over here, we went back with everything is greasable, all new everything there. And then out here, we've got the truck itself. So we're basically gonna just start assembling all this. We gotta put the new ball joints in first. Then we can put the kingpin back on and start reassembling the axles and the seals and the hub and everything. So let me get this thing broken out and we'll get to it. Thanks. So we've got the ball joint press in position. You can see this is one of the sleeves that it comes with, and then this is one of the extension sleeves. It slides up in there. The threads stop about right in here right now. So it needs to press this thickness before it'll fall out. And I'm thinking with this sleeve extension on there, it'll do it. We'll have to crank this down and it'll drive that ball joint out, and then we can jump over here and do the lower one. I want to leave my camera on while I do this, but I don't have any way to hold it right now. We're actually running off the cell phone today, not off the camera. So I'm gonna have to just go ahead and tighten this up and press it out, and then I'll show you it once they're both out and where we're at. Thanks, guys. Okay, there it is. It just popped out. The ball joint just popped out. Here it is. I haven't even taken it out of the sleeve yet. There it is. Bust this. Well, that sleeves, you can see it's a two-piece deal. I guess we could just leave it together for now, but look at that. It was just big enough to clear our ball joint, the existing ball joint. So now that this one's out, what you do is you get your setup, and now you'll actually run this thread through that hole down to this end to press this one out. That's why you have to do this one first. Otherwise, you can't do it. So one way or another, you'll figure that out, or you'll never get it off of there. So rent this tool. That thing works great. I use my big crescent wrench on the end. You spin it around until it pushes that ball joint out. And then here's what we're going with. We're going with the Redhead Greasable. There's so many different makes and everything out there, but these are the ones we went with. So then you'll work in reverse, and you'll press this one in, come back, press this one in. So there we go. What I really want to do is I want to get the reassembly video on this as I reassemble it too, because there's a lot of videos. There's a lot of the YouTube videos out there where they disassemble all this. They want to film and they want to take it all apart. And it basically is the same process, putting everything back together. But what I want to do is I want to install it piece by piece and show you as I install it. And another thing I need to look up and I need to have ready to go for this is all the torque specs. And I want to put everything back to factory torque spec, and using grease while we reassemble everything, and mild Loctite or medium Loctite. I guess it's not taco sauce, so it's not medium, it's mild. So anyway, this is where we're at, and stay tuned, guys. Like I said, I'm gonna get all this cleaned up on the other one. I still got to get it completely taken off, and then we'll get this stuff put on there. I think the rental for this ball joint press and extension was like $250 some at O'Reilly's. And we went through O'Reilly's because AutoZone didn't have it, and one thing led to another. So no advertisement, just raw truth of what's going on out here. Let's go ahead and keep going and get this one pressed out, get some other stuff laid out here, and we can start reassembling this hopefully today. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, I'm gonna try and film this so you can see this ball joint pop out. It's just about out. So you can see I had to run the all thread through the other eyelet all the way into there, running our double sleeve action. And when oh, hold on. Shop Yoda, bear with me. Okay, here it goes. A little bit more, it's almost. Sorry guys, I'm trying to hold the camera, crank this, hold the vise, take a call, you name it. Okay, there it goes. Slowly going by hand. It wants to move in the vise real bad. She's tight. I might have to, let's see. Yeah, we're gonna have to realign. You can see sometimes the end of the ball joint's actually hitting our sleeve, so I need to pry that over. But you guys get the point here. I'll keep going until that pushes it all the way out, and then it'll fall out. Let me set this down and see what's going on here. Loosen that one time. What you got to do sometimes is loosen this sleeve, right? So you can get this thing lined up, right, like that. see, now that ball joint's a little more lined up in there, and I just think it might come out. Let's see. Okay, it's the dog and pony show. So let me loosen it up. And, okay, we've got ourselves a... Let's see what kind of action we really got going on. See, the adapter coupling is a little sideways, and this ball joint right here is giving us some action. So what we'll do is we'll try and we'll get that lined up perfectly there like it was when we first started. All right, boom. Run that in, get it hand tight. Up a little bit. See, they don't show you all this. Most of the videos, it's, oh, real quick, look, we pressed it out with using fairy dust. No, this shit takes, this is some hard action, and you might have to just reset up on it a few times to do it right. And I just assume show you guys that, because then when you're at home, well, the guy on YouTube, he did it like in 5 minutes, man. Yeah, well, he edited 30 minutes of bullshit out of there. So here you go, you got the old ones out, the sleeves here, it's ready to go. And look at this. Look at that, dudes. So now, take our little, I have a smaller one. It'll fit in there. Don't worry, we'll get it. And then we'll come over here. We'll do the same thing on this one. Polish it up real good. And we'll start pressing the new ones in. Just make sure you don't press it in upside down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we'll press those in. Let's see, I'll take you over here. Here's the ones we're using, in case you want to know. Went through Amazon on these. We did some research. If you've used these and you hate them and you watch this video, give me a heads up. If you love them, give me a heads up. Either way, let me know. I did most all of the stuff through Rock Auto, but there was a few things I did get through Amazon. Not price reasoning or anything. Maybe I couldn't find it on Rock Auto, or it was a specialty thing, but I had ordered these ball joints way long time ago, back in November when I first got Death Wobble. And I thought, well, it could be the ball joints, it could be the wheel hub, it could be the center link, it could be the traction bar, it could be a bushing here. So I said, you know what, let's just replace everything. So it's taken us a few months to get here. But now that we're doing it and we're doing it right, it's all gonna go back together and be badass, dude, when we're done. So let me keep going here. I'm getting too excited, not getting any work done, and I'll be back here in a second. Thanks. So we're taking our air gun and we're going around these ball joint seats here, and we're taking our little wire wheel and we're running this up in here to get it as clean as possible. And that's where the new ball joint's gonna sit up in there. And we'll do that on both of these. Get you in there so you can see it. And you can see the insides getting nice and shiny. We'll put grease on there when we reassemble it so it'll keep away from bonding together with corrosion. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. So saving the money on labor for a shop to do it is a hot ticket. If you've got a little area to work, I mean, you can see we've got a lot of shit going on here, but we've got an area to work on this kind of stuff, and we're actually gonna save enough money, actually, believe it or not, doing this job ourselves to where the shop price labor would literally buy you an entire new round of parts. And that's, I'm talking everything, the steering, drag links, all this is brand new. Just the ball joints at a shop for this straight axle Dana 60 to get them changed, they almost want $400 in just labor to break it down. $400 in just labor to take and swap out your ball joints for you. And they'll just put all the other stuff back in there. So if your wheel hubs are blown out and their seals are ripped, and hey, well, he only said ball joints, so I don't know, it's kind of sketchy. You either end up spending $1 million to have it done right, or you spend $1 million and it's not done right, and you end up having to learn to do it yourself so that it is always done right. And you know what's the craziest thing is, doing it yourself, you save more money, you learn how to do it, and you know what you've got. You're going down the road and you know what you've got. You're on the way to the river for the weekend, you know that you reassembled and you tightened everything down to torque. Not some guy that was a Friday, he was ready to get off, he threw the nuts back on there, that kind of thing. So let's get back to it, guys. Get this thing cleaned up, get the new ones installed, and we'll get down the road. Thanks. All right, guys, let me try to get you caught up a little bit here. What we've done is we pressed in our new ball joints. You saw that earlier. It was a pretty simple process. Just take your time. You may either have to make yourself a sleeve piece of pipe that'll fit over that, or hopefully your hardware store will rent you the longer just tell me you want the 4-wheel drive ball joint extension kit for the ball joint press, and they'll take care of you. And you can see that we torqued them down to the factory torque, and then we shot some paint on a few things here. Down in there's our new dust seal. You can see that where the axle's sitting, so that looks real good. Let's see, and then we shot a little bit of black paint on it, and then you can see we've got our new axle seal up in here, the vacuum seal. It's a lot tighter than it was, and then once we put our hub bearing and stuff on there, it'll really tighten up. But look at, I mean, this knuckle, I can barely even move it. It's so nice and solid now. I did buy this tool to press this in. So basically, you can put the axle up in there, put your seal in there, and then you slide this over it. And then I beat on it with that hammer. I didn't have a dead blow hammer, so I had to use the sledgehammer, and you know, it dented it up a little bit, but it pushed it in there. It's good to go. The next thing is I'll bring out the new hub bearing, put that on. Then we'll basically be ready for our new caliper. I'll put the wheel adapter, and then we'll be ready for the new rotor. I'm sorry, not caliper. So let me get a few more things put on here. We'll keep going, guys. Thanks.